in life, I think. Okay, so we're gonna be near a wall today, so I just wanted to set that up now so you could see. And you could set it up now if you don't want to have to gather everything up again. So because we're gonna focus on, I'm a little bit low today. We're gonna focus on the liver meridian, which goes inside the legs here, and the gallbladder is the sides of the body. So like up in here and around. All the poses will target that area. So let's start. And I think we all probably need a moment of quiet. So we'll start with just some mindfulness of our breath. If you see me coming up to the computer, it's to let Maureen in. I don't know where she is. Maybe she's just running late. So we're going to take the knees over the bolster in constructive rest pose, and then a blanket under the head. So get nice and comfortable. Just like we take food into our body, we also take information, visual stimuli into our bodies, into our minds. And so we're going to breathe, and then as you exhale, imagine releasing whatever it is you don't need from what you're taking in. Imagine breathing into the belly, any news or info that you're taking in, and then as you exhale, let it release down through the body into the earth. Inhaling, taking in information, and feel it in the belly, and then exhale, releasing what you don't need from that information. Not all information is bad. We do need information. But a lot of it will just sit in our bodies and minds, cluttering everything up. And allow your breath to become smooth, even, lengthening the inhalations and the exhalations. Every exhalation, releasing what you don't need to keep in your mind or your body, whether it's images that you've taken in to your mind, whether it's thoughts, sounds, all the stimuli that our brain takes in. Take a moment to notice your energy today in your body. Notice and welcome in any emotions. And it's healthy to feel the different emotions, even anger sometimes, and to not push away, but also to not dwell in that and not to let the emotions take control. So we simply recognize whatever is coming up, name it, and let it go. So what that does is help you connect to tenderness, a feeling of tenderness, which is the feeling of being human. We get angry, we get sad because we care so much. So the best thing we can do is care for our sadness, for our anger, holding it with compassion, holding ourselves with compassion. And you can feel free to dedicate your practice to those who are suffering in the world. Sometimes if it's really bothering you, what's going on, and you can't separate from it, you can dedicate your practice to anyone in the world who's suffering. Spreading love and peace, ease to others often helps us feel the same way. And simply noticing patience. What is your relationship to patience? Do you have a hard time waiting? Perhaps you want something or many things to go faster than they're going. Wanting things to happen sooner than it's time for them to happen. And there's a great quote by Chinese mystic Lao Tzu. Nature doesn't hurry, yet all is accomplished. Nature doesn't hurry, yet everything is accomplished. So in Yin Yoga, we get to experience patience by holding sometimes difficult postures, by taking the rebound between poses and just being in that moment without rushing to the next moment mentally. And then bringing your hands over your heart center and bring into mind anything you'd like more patience around. What in your life could use a little bit more patience? Sending a wish of being patient. May I be patient with all that is unsolved, with all that is unresolved. May I be patient. And let's begin with the sound of Om. Taking a deep breath in. And then release your arms, bend your knees. You can keep your blanket or just slide it back, and then hug your knees into your chest and gently rock side to side. Massaging the back muscles. And very slowly you can start to let your head go the opposite way that your knees are going. So turning your head to one side, knees to the other, and then switching. And then let's just find that meridian so we know where it is. So you can lift your legs up. Feel free to keep your knees bent if that's better on your back. And then see if you can reach towards the insides of your ankles. And draw a line up the insides of the legs to the towards the groin, and then up on the sides of the belly. Good, and then back down to the ankles. Inhale up. It's like the inseam of the pants, and then up towards the sides of the ribs. Good. And then down. And then up. Good. One more time. Go down with the hands, tracing the line, just nice and soft. And then up on the sides of the abdomen. Good. And then you could put your feet down and roll to the side. And gently pressing up. And let's set up for our first yin yoga pose, which is wide-legged legs up the wall. So you could also do it on something stable that's mostly maybe at least this high, so that the at least the whole hamstrings are against something, so like a couch or anything that's solid if you don't have wall space. And if you do have wall space, just come up to the edge of right against your wall, and then come down to the elbows and then swing the legs up and over. And of course, you don't have to bring your legs very wide, just that there's some opening between your feet so your legs aren't together. And you'll notice, just like yin, because this is yin, if you go too far, you're going to feel this like a deep, deep stretch, and that might be too much for you. So just feel into what feels good. We'll stay here for about 5 minutes. So this is the liver meridian. So the liver meridian goes up inside the legs. Where is the liver? You can put your hand right on that spot. So right below the right side of your ribs is the liver, and you can breathe into that spot under your hands if you'd like. And the liver is the detox organ, so it helps to filter all the stuff you put in your body. The gallbladder is a partner to the liver as well, which is why they're together in yin yoga, in wood element. Once you feel like you became acquainted with your liver, you can let your arms go. It's nice to let the arms rest on the floor with the palms up. Being mindful of your breath as it flows in and out through the nose. If this ever gets to be too much on your knees, you could bend your knees and put your feet right on the wall and do like a wide-kneed version of this. Like a happy baby kind of on the wall. you might bring into mind for the liver. What makes you feel cleansed in your life? What feels cleansing? Or perhaps what do you need to cleanse from your mind or your body? What needs to be purified? So you'll notice now that we're coming into spring, there's a lot more hippie kind of poses. Liver and gallbladder just happen to be just, targeting the inner thighs and the outer hips. And then when we move into summer, it goes up to the shoulders and neck and arms. The winter was the backs of the legs, a little bit of the insides of the legs too. So just being patient with the hips. The hips are one of those things that just take a while to open up. So let's bring our feet back to center. So bring your legs together. And we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee. So this is kind of like wall yin, a little wall yin yoga. So then you slide your top foot down so that your foot is flat on the wall. You might realize that's too hard, and then you probably just need to wiggle back like I'm doing it. There's no graceful way to do it. Just wiggle on your back till you're far enough back, and then the arms don't have to be used like we usually do to hold behind the knee. You just are going to have your left foot against the wall and the right ankle crossed over the left knee. And you don't need to push into the wall or anything like that. But if you don't feel enough of a stretch, enough sensation, you can go closer to the wall. If you want to feel less sensation, move away from the wall. And breathe. Feel this right side of the body. This is the gallbladder meridian. It goes all the way down the sides of the body. Allow your jaw to relax. The liver is associated with the eyes. So in winter we did water element, which is associated with the kidneys and the ears, ear health. So the wood element is associated with eyes, with seeing and physically seeing, and also creating a vision. It's the part of you that imagines something and then makes it happen. It's also your creativity. And so you might also soften your gaze whenever your eyes are open. Keeping that soft gaze in the eyes also helps to soften the mind. And then slowly release that side, that pose out of your body, and let your feet just come up, let your legs be straight again. So your heels might be touching the wall, not your feet. And then we'll switch sides. So take your left foot across now, your right. Slide your right foot down the wall to an appropriate edge for you. Allowing the chi to flow through the left side, the left hip. We'll be here for 3 minutes. And I have a poem for you here. About patience by Dana Falds. The pendulum swings. Have patience. The pendulum that swung too far in one direction will swing back. At the moment of its turning, everything hangs in the balance. All the momentum of past actions is suspended in midair, and those who care about what happens next are poised with it. There is a long and anxious pause before the motion shifts, and then a sense of free fall, when the world is turned on its head and nothing is known or normal. Have patience then, and do not rush to either extreme. The way will paint its own arrows on the trees if you can wait for clarity. The way will paint its own arrows on the trees if you can wait for clarity. And slowly start to come out of the pose. Release that left leg up with the right. Just take a moment to feel the rebound. And then slowly bend your knees. And roll to the side. Take your time. You might have to wiggle away from the wall a little bit and pause, taking at least 3 deep breaths on your side. And then slowly pressing up. And we'll come to our next pose, which is on the belly. think I'm gonna stay right. Too lazy to pick up the mat again. Okay. So this one can be a little tricky for the knee. So you may want to. This is what I do, because if you don't want the inside of your knee on a hardwood, if you have a hardwood, then just take your blanket and open it up to a rectangle, and then place it alongside your mat. So that way, it's like an extended mat. So when you bring this is called one-legged sphinx pose. When you bring your left leg out to the side in a right angle, if you can, then it will be padded, so your knee will be happy. You might need to add some extra padding or just lower your knee a little bit. So bring it up no higher than your hip, or else you'll get a cramp like I just did. And you can do this with your forehead on the ground, on your hands, or coming into the sphinx. So coming up to the forearms. And remember, if your neck is happier with support, you could put your forehead on the block. Your eyebrow area, the ridge there, which will help to stimulate that yin tang point, which is that sedative. It's kind of like a sedative for your brain. Just depends on what you're needing today. I'm going to go without that and focus on breathing up into the belly and to the chest, and exhaling out a feeling of impatience. Breathing in patience and breathing out impatience, its opposite. And we can also remind ourselves that it's it's normal and human to want things to go faster than they are, to not want to wait, and also to not want to be in the unknown. So as humans, we don't like to be in the unknown. We like to have things known. We like to have things solved and in place. We don't want to be confused or left in the dark. That's just part of being human. Why? Because uncertainty is scary for most people. For yogis, it's an opportunity to be with uncertainty, to make peace with it, and to know, just like the quote, nature doesn't hurry, yet all is accomplished. So everything will work out on its own time, in its own way, and to realize that we don't have much control. We have a lot less control than we think we do. We only have control of our intentions, our visions for the future, but not in the results. So we have and that's a big part of yoga, regular yoga too. In the Bhagavad Gita, yoga is one of the 5,000-year-old texts of yoga. That's one of the lessons, is that you need to do your action and let go of the fruits of your action. So it's as if you don't have a right to the fruits of your actions. They come and you have no control over what you're going to get. So letting go, doing what you need to do, and letting go of the results is a very poignant practice, very potent. And when you're ready, ease yourself down. I like to take the elbows wide and then slide that leg back to the center. Rest your head on your hands and feel the rebound. So notice where you feel a sense of opening, perhaps release or relief. Sense of energy flow, blood flow. Anything to do with blood in the body is a liver. It could be a stagnation. That's how they talk about it in acupuncture, is blood stagnation. So things like menstrual issues are helped by liver meridian postures and any other kinds of blood disorders. And you can think about spring in that way, that there's circulation, right? Things are coming alive again. In winter, there's no circulation. Everything's just resting. And now it's like we start to feel energy surging through the body. This is a common time for people to have trouble sleeping or to start sleeping, sleeping less long, to wake up early. Let's go to the other side now. So if you're lucky like me with a hardwood, you can just slide the blanket to the other side so that it's going to be able to hold your knee. And then bring your right knee out to the side. So you can set that up first and then see if you can prop yourself up on your elbows. If it's too much, one of the things you can do is just lower the knee so that you can still stay in the Sphinx pose. Because the Sphinx pose has some good benefits to be on the forearms and to strengthen our shoulders. Feel free to use that head support if you'd like. Now you can really feel that this is targeting a little bit of the sides of the abdominals, coming up into those energy channels there. So feel your shoulders drop down away from your ears onto your back. And just let the groin release down. We'll stay for 3 minutes. The modification for this is just placing the head down on the hands, bringing the elbows wide. So anytime you need to do that is fine. Listen to your body and honor your body. Honor your body's needs. And this pose definitely, I think, helps with patience, at least for me. Because it's not easy to hold. There's some muscle that we do need to use to keep ourselves up. And the question is, can we know that this will be over soon, that we can be here even in discomfort? As long as it's not pain, we can handle discomfort. We can just notice intensity. Just noting what we're feeling and then letting it go. Taking just a couple more breaths here. And then slowly ease your way down. Slide your right leg back in straight. And rest your forehead on your hands. You can wiggle your hips a little bit back and forth. And just notice the flow of chi. Notice where you feel it. And slowly, let's transition to the next pose. So you can come to table, maybe just take a couple of side stretches, turning to one side, stretching the opposite side, and then turning your head to the other side, past the shoulder. That's the gallbladder meridian. You can feel it right there on the side of your hip, ribs, abdomen. Okay, and then let's take butterfly. So let's do this as a, if you'd like to, with a bolster, or you could just lay on your back and use 2 blocks for the knees, under the knees. So gather your blocks, maybe a blanket if you'd like that under your head. There we go. And then resting back on the bolster. Remember, the feet are coming together, but they're not super close towards the groin. There's a little space, maybe like a diamond shape. And making sure that the bolster is actually straight behind your ribs and your back. And then if you want to add the pillow. So basically you always want your neck to be neutral. To check it, you want to check. You can even touch your chin and then put a hand on your forehead. And notice if your notice if your chin is higher than your forehead. If your chin is higher than your forehead in space, then you need a blanket folded. Perhaps 1 layer, 2 layers, just finding that optimal place where the forehead and the chin are straight in the same plane. So that your neck should never be cut off. You should always feel that the neck is spacious in the front, the throat. And allow yourself to rest here in butterfly pose. We'll stay, let's see, how long will we stay? We'll stay for 5 minutes here. Notice any tension in your body, any holding. Check the arms, the jaw. Just knowing all the things you want to do, have, and be are on their way and will be coming in their own time. All the things you want to do, people you want to see, plans. There's no need to push, to force. It's like forcing a bud of a flower to open before it's ready. Several times I've bought a beautiful bouquet of flowers and without checking the weather, And then notice that it's going to rain for the next 4 days. And what happens? The flowers never open and they die, because the flowers will be ready to bloom when the conditions are right. So a lot of times we just don't know what those conditions will be. We don't know what circumstances will come. In a way, it can be exciting to not know, to be surprised. Not worrying about all the bad that could happen, but imagine all the good that can happen, that will happen. And slowly begin to take just the knees, bring the knees up, knees in, and feet apart so the knees touch in the middle. So this is called internal rotation, and when you're in the butterfly pose like that, that's external rotation of your hips. So feel the internal rotation. There's a little bit of a stretch there in the front of the thighs, just slightly. And then let's take our blocks out of the way and so we can roll off to the side. And then gently pressing up. And you can lay on your back, flat on your back now. And you may need a strap for this. It just depends on how open your hips feel now. They should be pretty open though, because we did a lot of stuff. But maybe start with the strap and see how it goes. So we're gonna do happy baby. So most of what you're using is the edges of your feet, the outer edges. So you're gonna put your feet in the strap and then slide the edges of your feet out to the side. So the part that your hand is holding is gonna slacken. There'll be less strap. And the knees are bent, the feet are wide. This is directly targeting the liver meridian here. Which goes up inside the legs and to the sides of the abdomen in a vertical line. Gallbladder is the outer hips, which you can also feel in this pose. And then start to soften into the pose. Relax the edges of your feet. Relax the feet. So your feet are relaxed, but there's the strap is straight in between. There's no dangling or sagging. So if there is, you might want to try moving your feet a little wider, or just pull down a little bit more. And even as you're practicing patience, you can also be aware of your aspirations. There's nothing wrong with wanting things to happen a certain way, having a plan, having a vision. That's all. That's what makes life happen, right? If we didn't have a vision for our life, where would we be? How did we get to where we were without a vision, right? So usually we see something in our minds before it happens. You know, we might miss our grandchildren, and then all of a sudden we're planning a trip, right? That's how we vision. So perhaps you want to be aware of what you have planned that you're excited about in the next couple months. Breathing in the gratitude to be able to do those things, to be able to do, have, and be what you want. And slowly release the strap, release this pose, bend your knees and bend your knees in and then bring them down. And take your feet as wide as your mat. You can put your strap up to the side and bring your arms out to the side and just start to slowly bring one knee off to the side and then the other goes down to the middle. And then switch windshield wipers. Feel your hips, your low back. Feel the circulation in your lower body. You know, I'm having this really good tingly feeling in my whole lower body right now. Okay, let's release our legs. Just feel the rebound. How would you like to rest in Shavasana today? So perhaps you'd like to go back to your legs up the wall, or maybe have a bolster under the knees again. Gathering any props. I like to have a blanket for the head or even over the top of the body. If there's even a little bit of a chill, it's good to have some covering. Also just to feel grounded and safe in this body today, in this life. Letting go of your whole practice now. Letting the breath wash through you. Letting the feeling of patience wash through you. A feeling of being able to wait for just the right moment. Letting go the jaws, upper and lower teeth. Let go of the shoulders, Release the eyes, softening the eyelids. Allow yourself to fully rest now, with everything just as it is, with yourself just as you are, perfect as you are. Today's poem is by Rilke, from Letters to a Young Poet. Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are written in a very foreign tongue. Do not now seek the answers, which cannot be given you, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer. Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart. Try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are written in a very foreign tongue. Do not now seek the answers, which cannot be given you, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer. begin to deepen your breath. Wiggling the toes, aware of the fingers, feeling toes and fingers circulating, moving the head side to side. Feel your neck. And then stretching your arms long, stretch your body long. Take a big breath in, up your entire body. And exhale, sigh it out as you lower your arms. And gently draw your knees into your chest. And make your way to fetal position on your right side, just resting for a moment. Gathering all that you've gotten from your practice today, gather it into your heart, into your mind, into your spirit. The lesson of patience. And when you feel ready, gently rising up towards seated with the eyes closed. And let's bring our hands together in prayer position. And let your forehead drop a little bit, bowing your head towards your heart. And feel free to send out some loving kindness. It's one of the best things we can do in difficult times as well, is to send the wish of peace, all beings, for all beings to have happiness, and for all beings to be free from suffering. And may we all be happy and live with ease and be free from suffering. Let's end with the sound of Om. Take a deep breath in. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for your practice today, whether you're here live or later. Also, I forgot, we were going to do the patience mudra, but we didn't do it. So if you are ever in a doctor's office or waiting for something, you can do the patience mudra. Is the middle finger and the ring finger on the thumb. And my teacher calls it corgi ears because she has two corgis, I think it is, like doggies. So like the ears. And then on the lap. Oh, I have a table in my way today. But like that on the lap. And just relaxed, of course. So that's the Apan mudra, and it represents patience. So with mudras, you can sit for up to 10 breaths is enough usually, but you could sit for 10 minutes with the mudra. Maybe while you're watching the news or while you're in a stressful situation, right? Have patience and use your mudra. So feel free to unmute yourself and share anything you'd like to share about your practice or any questions, anything at all.
Yes, thank you for today. This was good. And patience is something I have to work on.
Fellow Aries. Yep.
Even though I am married to someone who was also an Aries, he's just not, I guess, typical with that. He's just,
Yeah. He's not, yeah.
no.
My husband is a Taurus, so I'm the one who, as my sister says, you ram right into, because it's the Aries ram, you ram right into things. And my husband's the one who's like, wait a minute, slow down. Did you think it through? You know, he's like, he takes forever to really like sift through it. And I'm like, I want to do this. Let's do it. You know, that's how I do my class. That's how the classes happen, right? I want to do yin. I want to teach yin yoga. Let's do it. So it's like, it's a good quality. We just have to keep it in check. For like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
One way I heard, which is really good, is ask yourself if it's something you made a decision on, could you see yourself doing this in 6 weeks? In 6 weeks, how will you feel about that decision? To really like, because it's in the moment that you're just, let's do it. But sometimes you need to pause and
Yes.
go, should I really do this?
Yeah. Was that really smart?
Was that really smart? Yeah. Elaine?
I'm good, thank you. The class was good. Yeah, no, it was good. I don't know. I feel quiet.
Yes.
Quiet.
Quiet.
Yeah, that's a good word. Me too. So
Yeah.
quiet, I could just sit here right now, just
Mm-hmm.
meditate. Well, thank you, everybody. It
Thank you.
definitely feels quieter in the mind, that's for
Yes.
sure.
Right.
So we will have, don't get confused if you see something about Tuesday yoga not happening. That's the in-person class next week. I'm so excited because after this, then all the series will be back on track, all at the same time, all together, and which means we have to do a 4-week series just to get it back on the same track. But that's fine. We
Yes.
can do that because we'll always have another one. So yeah, so I will definitely see you next week, and if not, I'll
See you.
see you on Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow,
Yes.
Elaine. So
Have a good
enjoy the
day.
sunny day.
Yep.
Bye,
So bye.
everybody. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.